Welcome to Conscious Coupling, where Frederic Gobeil and Christy Whitman share their experiences of creating a conscious, connected relationship. Every week, they give practical tools, steps, and processes to help you find the loving connection with your partner. Let's get into today's conversation with Frederic and Christy.
Money, 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 money.
Money!
So we're talking about money.
Couple.
I love talking about this subject. So hi, I'm Christy Whitman.
And I'm Frederic Gobeil.
You're funny when you do that. Oh my God, he must be Cher or like Prince or something with just one name.
I don't know, with a name like Gobeil, how many of you are able to say it anyways, right? Unless you're French.
Well, most people say Gobeil. But anyways, this is Frederic and Christy. And
Welcome to our show.
The Conscious Connected Coupling. So we are talking today about money because you know what? Every single human being has to relate, deal, spend, earn, deal with this thing called money.
Because it's our human way right now.
It is. Someone long ago, before all of us were born, decided that we were going to have this currency of exchange called money. And yet it is the biggest, singlest problem that I see when I coach people as far as feeling victimized, that they can't track, they're powerless to do it. They feel very powerless with money. And when you integrate that into a relationship, it's one of the things that you have to deal with, not only as an individual person, but in a couple. Because there's things you have to pay for. There's the mortgage, there's the rent, there's the car payments, there's the food, there's the utility bills, the cable, whatever it is.
It's called responsibilities, all the responsibilities that we need to take in order to live where we live.
Absolutely. So I think all of us would agree that it'd probably be a really good idea. Well, money's important. And if you think money's not important, then you're just in denial. Because if you want to eat, you need money. If you want to go on a trip, you need money. If you want to send your kids to a good school, if you don't want to send them to public, you need money. If you want to go on a concert and have a fun experience, you need money.
And play golf, you need money.
Right, go to a spa and get a massage, you need money. So it's a really good idea to be friendly and to create a better, appreciative, grateful relationship with money, no matter what you have right now. But what we want to talk about is that there are really two aspects. There's two different aspects to not only being a human being. When you think of the law of polarity, there's the inner being that you have, the metaphysical side of you, and then there's also the physical side of you. It's both and. You're not one or the other. And money is the exact same way. You have the energy of money. I always like to say that money is green energy. You have the money of energy, and then you actually have the physical thing. So what we're going to talk about today on this episode is how there is both human laws of money and spiritual laws of money. Now, the human laws of money, I'm not one to come to for an expert. I know the lane that I'm in, and my lane is spiritual money. And what I mean by that, spiritual money, oh my God, it even says in the Bible, it's the love of money that's the root of all evil. That's so misunderstood. What that means is when you put money above God, when you put money above the divine, when you make money your focus and your motivation and your reason for doing all that, that's the sin, right? That's where it's like you get all mussed up. But when you do things out of service, you allow the money to come and you don't resist it, you are abundant. Because our divine plan and design is to be abundant, and financial abundance is part of that. So when you align yourself and you work with the spiritual laws of money, learning how to magnetize, how to attract it to you, how to feel yourself being open to it and accepting to it, I am like the master at helping people do that in their lives. As a matter of fact, I've created a program called the Creating Money course. It's on my ChristyWhitman.com website. You can go there under, pardon me as I shift myself. Shift.
Whoops. That'll be a good blooper.
As I shift myself, for those of you on the podcast. Oh my gosh, she's like, what is she doing now? You can go to ChristyWhitman.com and it's Creating Money. And that teaches you all the different things because there's really only 4 things that you can do with money. There is earn it, spend it, give it,
and invest
it, right? So that is encompassing both laws. So there's the spiritual law of attracting it, of earning it, right? And then there's the giving of it. And what do you do in that energy of the receive and in the give, right? Money and your relationship with money is always an ebb and a flow. And you can increase the flow and decrease the ebb. And there's ways of doing that and playing with energy and money. But then there's the other aspect of it, which is the human laws of money. You want to speak to that?
No.
All right, so I'll just talk the whole time and he'll just look at me.
Yeah.
So it's what you do with it. Once you have attracted the money, now what do you do with it? Once you have it, do you invest it? Do you put it in a bank account? Do you spend it? What do you do with it? Do you go buy real estate? So there's laws of money as far as human laws of how to increase it, how to make your money grow, right? But you initially first have to attract it, right? You have to bring it in. And if you don't have any money to bring in, then there's no use in talking about the human laws, because you don't need a savings account, you don't need an investment account, you don't need a retirement account, you don't have any of it, right? So, but the thing is, once you attract it, then what do you do with it? And how do you make your money work, and how do you make your money grow?
And in a couple, it's also now another question: how do you go about within the couple in order to, communicate to each other and come to an understanding of what will work for the couple? Because now you're building an entity, which is the couple, but you still have two people inside the couple that are working or not. I mean, it could be also one person, but it's for the couple. So how do we step into that area where sometimes it's not easy to talk about, the situation of money or situation, who pays the bill, who pays which bill, how often do we pay these bills, what money do we put aside, what are the percentages of investment that each of us want to do, what are the amounts that we want to spend in order to go on vacations. So all of these have to kind of be ironed out.
Absolutely. And so what we always recommend to people is that you have mine, his, and ours, or mine, hers, and ours. So that you have he's got his money, he's got his account, so that when he wants to go golfing or wants to go buy a shirt or new golf shoes or whatever it is that he wants to do, he has the money and he feels like he has the freedom. He doesn't have to come to me and say, hey, can I take this money out of our account, or take the money out of our account, and that's meant to pay for the things that we need to pay every month, right? And I have mine. So I get to go and buy a pair of shoes if I want to buy a pair of shoes, or go to the spa or whatever. And then we have our money, right? We have investment accounts and everything too, but we have our money on a daily, monthly basis, and we put the money in there that's going to take care of all the things that are going to be taken care of, whether it's the mortgage or even money for grocery shopping, for things for the kids, if soccer's coming up, whatever it is, all that is ours, right? So that he feels he has the freedom with money in his own account, and to make the choices and have those options on his own, and then I do too. So now we're not blended and someone's taking too much out and someone's spending too much money, and then it becomes a source of frustration or resentment in there, right? So it's setting yourself up to win and really talking in your couple about what is working and what's not working, and be able to look at what's not working in a very calm way and say, okay, what are our options? What would feel good, right? I like to say that I take care of the spiritual side of the money. Like I could bring in money all day, every day, right? I'm just really good at attracting money and creating money. And that's what I teach, because I love it. And I love the fact that, when you put energy out, you can then attract money, and there's tools and things, and that's why I created the Creating Money program. He's amazing with investments and knowing where to put our money, and he's the guy that takes care of all the bills. It's like the money goes in, and it's our joint checking account, but everything goes through him. He's the budgeter of our family, right? I don't like the B word.
Budget.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, years ago, I remember we were getting ready to take a trip, and he's like, okay, so what do we want to budget for this trip? And I'm like, oh, you just took the juice out of it. I don't want to have to sit there and worry about, okay, well, we can't spend more than $100 on this meal. I just want to go on vacation and enjoy myself. And he's like, yeah, but there's the other side of it, is that you can't be like, okay, we're going to spend whatever. You know, we need to have a certain amount. So we decided to change the word budget, because that just felt nasty, naughty for me.
Too businessy, too corporate.
No, it felt like lack. Like it's limiting. It's a budget. It's felt limiting. So we've now changed that word to allocate. Because for me, the word allocate, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. We're taking this amount, we're going to use this allocation for our vacation. And it's not like, okay, we're there, we can't spend any more money, right? But we have a roundabout idea. Say it's $5,000, just as an example, as a random number. If we go over, we find something, we spend, $500 or another $1,000 more, we'll talk about it before we either do the thing or make the purchase. But it's like, we're around that area. Is it worth it? Do we want to? We'll discuss about it. But we have an idea of what we want to spend. But it isn't like, well, we're on our 5th day and we've already gone through all the allocations and we have one more day, so tomorrow we're not going to eat, right? Or tomorrow we have to eat at McDonald's or something like that. We discuss these things and we're able to be flexible with them. But in the beginning, we just create this allocation of what we want, so it does feel like there's boundaries, so that I'm not going, oh, let's go to a jewelry store and buy jewelry, or go buy a bunch of Turkish rugs, or some of those kind of things.
Or big diamonds. No, but actually, this is a source of conflicts, right?
It is.
I mean, it's
in many relationships.
Money in a lot of relationships is, this is my thing. It's what I do to bring money is important to me. That's where we identify ourselves. That's our value, right? That's how much we get paid, is the value that we have. And often
perceived, yeah.
It's the value that we're perceived to be. Instead of, you don't need to bring money in to know that you have value. You have value no matter what. But anyways, what's important here is that conversation about money needs to be also done with timing. I remember that, certain points sometime when I come to her and I talk to her about bills, and she's in the middle of doing something. It's not the right time for me to talk about, how are we going to pay a bill. And so that's why we've done it in that way, where we now have an account together that manages all these bills, so that the timing of it, we don't need to go back and forth and say, oh, God knows we've got, plenty of bills every day that we need to pay. So these bills are taken care of now. We don't need to sit down with each other and say, all right, how are we going to go about with this bill? And so determine that prior, or in the beginning, how do we want to pay the bills? Do we want to pay the complete amounts? For her, that was something that was important. For me, I grew up where it was okay to pay half the bill or 3/4 of the bill.
That didn't make any sense to me. I was like, you have the money, pay the bill.
Right. So again, I grew up like that. It was okay not to pay the whole bill. Now it's like, no, it's not. I've got to pay the entire bill, and on time as well. And so
yes.
Those are the priorities that we discussed together. What was the preferences, her preferences, my preferences, and we came together in a timing, in a time that would be good for both of us to communicate properly together. Not a 5-minute kind of thing, quickly. Okay, how do we do with this in a stressful way? We need to sit down together in a timely fashion and organize the money situation. What are the preferences? How are we going to set up to have a vacation this year? Right? Where do we want to go? Talk about that. What's the place that we want to go for our next vacation?
By the way, he said the other day we're going to go to Bali, and I was like, okay, that's cool. But I was like, do we want to discuss this? He's like mapping out, we're going to go to Bali, and then we're going to go to the Great Barrier Reef. And I'm like, when? And he's like, I don't know. But he's just dreaming. And so I'm not going to go, well, I don't want to go to Bali. I want to go here instead. I was like, cool, we're going to Bali. right?
It always starts with a dream.
It always starts with an idea. It always starts with an energy, an idea, a dream, like you're saying, And then if it's like, if he's really serious, like he's feeling called and drawn to go to Bali, then it's like, let's sit down and look at, when do we want to do that? What are the airline
How do we
tickets?
make it happen?
If I want to go on a vacation, I want to go 5-star. What's the allocation going to be for that?
Right.
So it's a discussion, and we look at these things, and then it's like, okay, let's start building out this amount. So we're putting that aside for this particular vacation in our joint account, so that money is there. It's set aside. So for you in your relationship, you might have a beautiful relationship with money with your partner and don't have any issues, and that's awesome. We'd love to hear, leave us a comment. What do you do that works in your relationship? For others of you, it's a conversation of just sitting down without emotion, letting all the emotions go. We've given lots of processes and techniques on how to release the emotions of things, the resentments, all that kind of stuff, and sit down and say, all right, this is what the contrast is. This is what's not working. So what are the solutions? What could work? We've come to a place in, like Frederic was saying, instead of every week, coming to me or, trying to figure out what the bill is, he now has budgeted, he is now allocated, looked at every single expense that comes in for our household, for our family. We have a good number. We pretty much hit that number every single month. And then at certain times, 2 times of the month, we'll put the money in there so all those bills are taken care of. And it just makes it easier for both of us. Neither one of us worries the money in there, or are the bills going to be paid? It's just something that's done, and we do it like clockwork. And it works for us now. And so there's no discussion of who's responsible for what. But the other thing I wanted to share is that not all people have the same skills. So Frederic is really very logical, very methodical, thinks in numbers, likes to budget things. That he likes to actually do that. I don't.
I'll take the time to calculate, like when we bought our house, for example. I was the one looking at mortgage costs, taxes, what are the payments for all the electricity bills. She doesn't want to do that.
Oh, it's pretty. Let's buy it.
Yeah. What's the HOA fees, right? And so I was looking at all of these expenses before we buy the house, because these are the ongoing expenses. You want to make sure that you're able to pay your mortgage and the ongoing expenses. Not just the taxes too, but insurance costs as well.
But it's pretty. Let's get it. I'll just attract the money. And so I'll bring in the money, and then you worry about where it goes, right? So that's just always how it's worked in our relationship. I don't want to be bothered by, I don't even know what the HOA fee is. I know it's the home, whatever, but
homeowner, whatever.
I don't want to, I want to just enjoy my beautiful home, right? And so I'll attract the money, bring it in, he'll allocate it to wherever it needs to go, and that works for us. So if you're one person in your relationship where you feel like you're more in the discussion of how to bring it in and the energy of how to expand the wealth, how to expand the money, take my Creating Money course. It's fantastic. It's based on the spiritual principles of the 7 essential laws. If you're wanting to learn more about how to get into finances, how to invest your money, all that kind of stuff, buy Tony Robbins' book on money. There's tons of great books on money and budgeting and all those other kind of things. I don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. You could talk about your training that you've had, but that's not what this show is about. It's really finding out where are the missing holes? Where are the links that are not filling in the whole story so that you have a healthy, robust relationship with this third entity called money, because everything is energy. So you've got this relationship, and if you're allowing money to cord you and pull you off your power, or you both or one of you feel powerless to money, it will affect your relationship. So the steps for today are: look at the differences and the skill sets that you have in your relationship. What are you each individually bringing to the table? And how can you both contribute to not only managing the money of today, but really being able to expand your wealth so that you're enjoying your life today, but building your fortune, building your retirement, building, when you are wanting to just retire, to allow yourself to have what you need so that both of you are coming to the table. One might do the investing while the other might do the energy work to bring it in, or you might both do that. The second thing is look at where your limiting beliefs are. What do you say about yourself? Oh, I'm not good with money. Oh, I don't know how to budget. I hate the word budget. Okay, could you change the word to allocate? Where are the places where you're having constriction or restriction in your thought process with money? Because believe it or not, that stops the flow of money. And really allow yourself to feel what it feels like to have abundance financially, to have the amount of money, know the amount of money you want in your account, and feel as if you have it. Go to bed each night with that feeling state of having all that you need, feeling more than satisfied. Remember that with the law of sufficiency and abundance, being satisfied is the doorway into abundance. So at least feel the satisfaction, the gratitude, the appreciation for what you do have. And go to bed each night, both of you and the couple, feeling so appreciative for what you have and that you have everything you need to afford what it is that you want in your life, and really be able to feel that feeling, because that will reprogram your whole entire subconscious mind to create really what it is that you want.
One thing that we both do is feeling thankful for living in the area, in the city, in the state, and in the country that we live in. I mean, we are so grateful every morning that I wake up and in the sun, the beaming sun of Arizona. I mean, for me, this is heaven where I'm at. So I'm so appreciative of living where I'm living, and I do that I'm grateful every single day of my life to be able to do that. And so yes, create the as less tension, because we know that money can bring tension especially into the couple. So create that atmosphere, the environment where you're able to kind of deal where is it that you're seeing a little bit of tension, and how can you kind of deal with that and focus on
and shift it. You're shifting it.
Yeah, focus on a way to discover, the how to improve and lessen the tension.
Absolutely. Look for the positive aspects. Look for ways you could be grateful and appreciative, because that's going to open you up to more. Remember, think of money as like little cartoon characters, right? Money comes where it's welcomed and where it's appreciated. And when you start being negative about it, it goes, "Rah!" It like runs away. So money is either attracted or repelled by our energy. And when we are appreciative of it, when we are grateful what we have, we actually attract more. It's like little things coming to us, more of it coming to us. And when we're in lack, we scatter. The money just runs right away. So it really is coming first. Everything is energy. And everything is energy first before the manifestation of anything. So I hope this conversation has been helpful, and we really appreciate you listening. And if you need any help at all in any aspect of your relationship, you can go to consciousconnectedcoupling.com, or you can go to christywhitman.com. We have lots of different offers and lots of different ways to serve you personally or through digital, or however that looks like for you, whatever we can do to support you. And on next week's show, we are going to talk about emotional prenups.
What is that?
Do you have an emotional prenup? Have a great week, everybody.
Have a good week.
Thanks for listening to Conscious Coupling with Frederic Gobeil and Christy Whitman. If you like our show and want to know more, check out ChristyWhitman.com. And please leave us a review on iTunes. Learn how to turn your partner into your soulmate. Join us again next week for another powerful episode.